This video is sponsored by NordVPN. 3D printing has become more and more popular over the last few years, and now the cost to get started is actually pretty reasonable.
And in theory, making things this way is less wasteful because you build up your item layer by layer instead of cutting it from a larger block of material.
But if you've done any 3D printing before, you may recognise a drawer a bit like this, full of test prints, failed projects and expired filament.
A suggestion that lots of you have had is to simply turn the waste plastic back into more filament, which is exactly what the team here at the Innovation Studio of the Arts University Bournemouth have bought the equipment to do.
Now, this kit can make fairly consistent filament, but it's not particularly budget friendly for your casual 3D printing enthusiast, and there's a fairly steep learning curve.
So we're going to see if we can find a different method that anybody at home can do, and it's as easy as snapping your fingers.
Workshop?
Workshop. Now what do we do after that?
We've never done the jump transition before, have we?
Did it work? I have no idea.
7 years old, this transition.
So we're looking for DIY or easy methods to recycle 3D printing filament. And one thing we found is on TikTok, actually, of all places.
Of all places?
It's like such a great where people are taking it, put it in the oven, stuff it into a mold, and it comes out looking all right.
That's really cool. So we don't actually do any 3D printing ourselves, but fortunately, a lot of our friends do, and they donated lots of it to us. So now we've got all of that 3D printing waste, mostly on our floor, and we've got our method. We just need to work out what we actually want to make.
And we're not actually making anything for ourselves this time, we're making something for somebody else because this video is part of YouTube Maker's Secret Santa 2023 and we've been invited. So we've joined a whole host of awesome makers, and the idea is that each maker makes a gift for a randomly assigned other maker, and then every person makes a video about it. You watch all the videos in a big long loop, and eventually you'll get back to this video.
So we'll actually be getting a present at the end of the video.
Oh yeah.
If you stay to the end, watch it, you'll see us opening our lovely present.
From one of these amazing people. And the maker that we've been randomly assigned is the amazing EmilyTheEngineer.
So Emily makes a whole bunch of ridiculously awesome stuff. A lot of it is 3D printed, which is, you know, it all ties together. But a common theme that you'll see in a lot of our builds is her love of Marvel and superhero movies. So with that in mind, we are going to be making our very own replica Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, it's child's one. Wait. Just like the real thing.
Don't click your fingers. But we've never made anything like this before, and we're going to have to make a mold and all this complicated stuff. So we're going to park that for a minute, and instead we're going to find something a little bit more achievable. And we've actually found something else that Emily really likes, which apparently is Crocs. So we've got our workshop oven set, and that's on. We've set it to around 215, 220. Now, we don't recommend using the standard oven you use for food in your kitchen because plastic fumes is not a good idea. So if you haven't got your own dedicated oven like we have, a small toaster oven you can pick up on secondhand really cheaply, or some other way of heating it would be good. But hopefully this will do the trick.
For our first attempt, we just chucked the scraps in the mould as they were, but this resulted in a lot of air bubbles. So we tried it again, but this time we used small pieces of waste filament for the first few layers and then pressed these down into the mould. So using that smaller filament works so much better, but we don't want to be limited to just using filament, so we want to try and find a way of breaking down those larger failed 3D prints that we've been sent, so we can use them to fill up that much bigger mould for this gauntlet. So we've bought ourselves a cheap little second-hand blender for £10, so we're going to see if we can get that to work for what we need it to do.
The little blender worked pretty well. We did find it was more consistent if you just put a bit in at a time, so it kind of was a bit slow going, but definitely a nice cheap option. For our next attempt, we're going to try something a little bit bigger, so we picked up the same skull mold that we saw people using over on TikTok. Now we need to produce a shiny gold gauntlet worthy of Emily's display wall, but unfortunately we only have a very small amount of gold PLA, so we thought we'd try adding some gold mica powder to the inside face of the mold just to see how it comes out.
We also wanted to find a way to speed this up, as even after they're chopped down into little bits, the partially hollow 3D prints tend to melt down into almost nothing. So, of course, it would not be a Brothers Make Plastic recycling video without our trusty panini press. We found that if we piled on the PLA and then let it flatten out under some weight, we could give it a few squishes and folds before cutting this up into small nuggets of dense plastic. This helped speed things up massively, as this only took around 90 minutes compared to the 4 or 5 hours other people have said that it takes using the original method. So we just switched off that oven and left it to cool overnight. So now, time to unmold it.
Oh, that gold
my
really
word.
Pop the eye out.
Look at that.
Wow.
Do you still get the little pops of colour coming through? That is genuinely so much better than I thought it'd be.
Now obviously we don't have a silicone mold of this shape, so what we're going to do is make our own silicone mold, but in order to make sure this doesn't take 12 hours to completely fill with plastic, we're going to split this in half along the wrist, put them next to each other, and hopefully that will just save us a load of time and a load of energy with the oven. Hopefully we'll get the seam nice and accurate so we can attach these together later on, and we're also going to take each of these gems out and we're going to make a separate silicone mold for these and cast these out of different colour plastic.
If only they had a scalpel in Endgame. Don't know what the fuss is about. Unlucky Thanos.
Off camera, we've made a little formwork for our silicone mold, just a quick scrap wood thing. You saw us cut the gauntlet in half, and what we've done is blocked up the underside there so the silicone doesn't fill it up, and we've suspended it on these two supports, that'll do. That way they can slot into the silicone mold and we can screw them in place to pour the silicone around it. We're going to go for a nice slow high pour. Hopefully that will reduce how many bubbles we get.
Imagine if we make this infinity gauntlet, and then it works as a real infinity gauntlet. what would be your, like, what would you choose to happen on the click of the fingers?
Okay. Right. Picture the scene. I reckon I'm just sitting back. I'll sit down.
Yeah.
Close my eyes. Click my fingers.
That was a rubbish click.
Rubbish click. And become safer online.
Well, that's funny, and obviously completely unplanned because the sponsor of today's video is NordVPN. At this time of year, loads of us are spending hours online looking for gift ideas and shopping online. And perhaps you find yourself on a random website looking for inspiration as to what to make your favourite YouTubers that like 3D printing and Marvel movies, as a random example. And then you see this ad, which is just far too tempting. So you click on it, and unfortunately, you're the one that's being tricked because it's already sent all of your information to some villainous hackers who are loading viruses and malware onto your computer. Fortunately, with NordVPN's threat protection feature, ads are not only blocked, but any downloaded files are also scanned for viruses.
What, you want another oddly specific example? Sure. So you've had to sort out passwords on your to-do list for ages, as until now you've been using the same one for everything. But the data security on your 3D printing forum isn't the best, and now hackers have managed to get into a bunch of your accounts. As luck would have it, not only does NordVPN's dark web monitor notify you if your details appear on hacker websites, but their password manager generates and fills in super strong passwords for you as well.
So if for some reason you don't fancy making a recycled plastic infinity gauntlet for a loved one, consider giving the gift of online security by clicking the link in the description below.
And not only will you get a sweet deal, including an extra 4 months, but you also get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Big thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Let's go back to those molds.
While that high temperature silicone is curing, we need to start breaking down this plastic. And while this little shredder was awesome, we've got a big one in our workshop already. And because we've got quite a big mold to fill, we need to get through a lot of plastic. And very kindly, we've been donated a lot of it by all of our friends. I'll show you. That should do it. We've separated all that PLA into colours so we can make a start with shredding. So we've got our first little box here that we're going to make a start with. Before we put it through the shredder, I'm just going to chuck it on our Plastel to make sure it's definitely PLA, as we want to make sure there's nothing, no like ABS in there.
Nylon, something gross that would just smoke out the oven.
Exactly. So we trust everyone that they definitely sent us PLA, but just to be sure, pop it on here. PLA. Get shredded.
So he's fully set, so that's one bit done. But the most nerve-wracking bit is to try and take this out of the mold, hopefully without having to cut the silicone apart so that it can all stay in one piece. This is much too strong of a mold. Well done me.
Standing back a little bit, because I'm not wearing appropriate workshop footwear. Well done. Matt.
Thank you. Ah!
Right, we are very, very happy that that worked. So we've got to get some release spray and then the mica powder in there, and then we can get cracking with spending a whole day mounting plastic. I'm going to do the wrist side first, because that's probably a bit easier.
God, that's going all over our floor.
It's going to make it all look very blingy. Very what? Blingy? That's probably a bit 2004, isn't it?
That actually looks really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Really good. Hello, Thanos.
Here we go. This is what he did. This is how he did this one as well.
Is it? I like it. Since this is going to be on all day, we're going to make the most of all that heat, and we've bought a couple of other molds. We're going to redo a couple of skulls. We've got the gems for the Infinity Gauntlet, plus a couple of other things, and that way it makes the most of all that heat.
While that's in the oven, we just wanted to say to any of you that are potentially interested in joining the Brotherhood that this month we're going to be giving away one of the skulls that's currently being made right now to one of our patrons. All they've got to do is head on over to our Patreon page, let us know what you think would be cool to make out of PLA, and then we'll take the best idea and then ping that skull to you directly in the post. And don't worry, if you don't win, there's still a bunch of other benefits. You can get your name on a workshop wall, you'll be invited to Zoom hangouts, there's a bunch of things. So no pressure if not. If you fancy it, link in the description.
We're running into a bit of an issue. These seem to be working absolutely fine, whereas this guy has been in the oven for 2 hours now, and literally nothing's happened. Because it's like a heat-resistant silicone, maybe it's stopping any heat getting in the mold. We're going to see if we can come up with a different way to get plastic in this mold, because at the moment, this ain't working. What we're going to try is take the shred that we shred down of the PLA earlier on, and we're going to try and put it in our injection machine to kind of preheat the plastic and then squirt it into the mold, keep it hot in the oven, and keep repeating it until it's full. Sounds like it might work, so let's try it.
What you making?
Beads. I forgot the name.
I did as well. I was going to say buttons.
So was I.
So amazingly, this technique seems to be working surprisingly well. Where the plastic's already entering the mould at a much more of a liquid state, it seems to be filling up that mould really nicely and getting into all those crevices. Is that right, Matt? So the injection moulder heats up the plastic in 10-minute cycles, so it's just going to be a case of rinse and repeat from here. So this is the quickest we've ever started work. We've left that to cool overnight, and usually we faff around for a good hour or 2 hours and we start.
9:25.
9:25 and we're actually starting.
Ready to go. But there's no way this is going to come out the mould, so we think the best way is going to take a scalpel and see if we can get this out in one piece.
Don't worry, we can reuse a lot of the silicone just by cubing it up and using it to pack out other silicone molds, so it won't go to waste. Yay!
So considering yesterday where everything was going wrong, the phrase we were using was we would have been happy with anything even vaguely glove-like.
I'd say that's vaguely glove-like. The detail on it is amazing, and while you may be looking at it thinking that it's like the broken shards of failure, we're very happy with this.
The brittleness definitely came from the plastic getting too hot. So if you're ever heating PLA up, keep it slightly lower. I think we would have gone for something close to 200, maybe 190 to 200. But we're going to tidy up this end here and here, glue those together first, and then piece all this bits together. And then we might use some of this gold powder just to fill in a few of the gaps. And then it's ready to send off to Emily.
Now, I am pretty confident in saying that is probably one of the coolest things we've ever made.
Well, I'm a little bit upset that we actually had to post it off and give it to Emily.
Really upset. If you check out her video, you should see her reaction to it. Hopefully she likes it.
Hopefully. She should be the next video on the playlist if you're watching that, but if not, go and find it. The thing we set out to test was, can you recycle 3D printing scrap filament or waste projects into other things at home? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I would say if you're going to do this at home as a little sort of DIY project, it's probably easier to avoid making your own silicone molds, just because that was probably the biggest pain point.
These things, absolutely brilliant. These candle molds, the little silicone flat molds we used, they worked an absolute treat. If you get a bunch of these, you can put them all in the oven and make like 15 all in one go.
We have just got a brand new sheet press that can make 1 by 1 meter sheets. It's currently being built. But when that's ready, it'd be really cool to try and make some massive sheets out of this, because I think it makes some amazing looking patterns.
One thing we'd like to do a little bit more research on is the effects of mica powder in the PLA and whether that affects its kind of recyclability.
Yeah. Realistically, to be fair, the final finish on it, even without the mica powder, is so cool that you'd probably just go without, unless you needed a specific colour.
Absolutely, yeah. These are kind of, they almost look like marble or stone, don't they? And you can kind of mix the colours and blend them in together. I think, you don't need it, but for our application, I think it looked cool.
Now, excitingly, this being a Secret Santa video, it's not just about us making a present for someone else. We've actually had one arrive for us in the post, haven't we? Oh! Fingers crossed it's not something fragile.
Ah, we have a card.
Ah, kids event stuff.
Hey!
To Matt and Johnny, happy Christmas. Give us a call when you get this and all be revealed. Love, Ruth and Shawn.
They're not going to answer.
Hi, you're through to Ruth.
Let's get out of the box and maybe she'll call us back.
Let's try.
Right, ready? Packaging, go to the packaging. Oh my
word.
Is this going to shoot ice cream at us?
I hope so. Shotgun shooting at you.
Brilliant.
Oh, is that a traffic cone?
Oh, it is a traffic cone.
That's hilarious. Right, while we're waiting for them to call us back, I think we should probably go move this outside, because whatever happens, it's not going to be clean, is it?
If this is an ice cream launcher, I don't want to launch it in our office. So let's go out there and hopefully they'll call us back.
Hello, brothers, mate.
Hello, Shawn from Kids Invent Stuff. We're standing in front of a ice cream, I assume, cannon.
It is indeed. It's 6-year-old Finn's invention idea for an ice cream firing cannon.
Excellent idea. Cheers, bub.
All right, folks. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
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 Whoever loses gets shot.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, show. 1, 2, 3, show. 1, 2, 3, show.
Yeah! Come on! You ready?
Yes.
I am literally covered in ice cream all over my new jumper, and he's insisting on going again for another round.
You'll be all right.
Don't shoot me in the mouth.
Okay. Ready?
Oh, it's dripping all over me.
Come on, we've got an end of a video to do.
This is ridiculous. Look, I said don't hit my face. My beard is covered.
I barely hit you in the face. Admittedly, they said 35 PSI. I put that one to 75. Well, a massive thank you for watching the video. A massive thank you to Ruth and Shawn for making this incredible thing.
Yeah, thanks.
We're going to use it all the time. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. You got anyone to thank?
The washing machine. He's going to get this ice cream out of my new jumper.
Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
And we'll speak to you very soon.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the video. Come on.
You just whacked me in the head with it as well. Thanks for watching.